Hi guys, I finally changed my laptop. I've been using the new 14-inch MacBook Pro for 2 weeks now, and it has both pros and cons. But it has one thing that I really hate. But we'll talk about it later, so stay tuned. If you're new to my channel, my name is Andrea. I'm a product designer from Italy, and on this channel we explore product design from tools to tutorials. Today we are going to see if the new 14-inch MacBook Pro is a good laptop for designers. Apple's Mac lineup is very confusing at the moment, with the MacBook Air, more pros than Microsoft has ever had in their development team, the Mac Studio, the Mac Pro. You can go to an Apple store and stay there for months. That's why I ordered mine online. I know a lot of you don't know whether to choose the MacBook Pro or the Mac Studio, and it is more than right. With the price of a base MacBook Pro, you can go with an M1 Max Mac Studio, or you can take your partner to the Cayman. To them, I can give a quick answer. Subscribe to my channel, it's completely free. So if you have a laptop configured in desktop mode, but in the last 6 months, at least once, you had to move it, well, go for the MacBook Pro. You will thank me the next time you have this need. So why did I go with this Mac? Well, the Mac Studio was released 3 days later. Sad story, I know, but I think I would have chosen this anyway because sometimes I need to carry it around. I went with the midline processor, so the M1 Pro with 10-core CPU, 16-core GPU, 16 gigs of RAM and 1TB of SSD. I was a bit worried about the RAM, but by now I saw that 16 gigs are more than enough for what I do. Speaking about the design, I came from a 2018 MacBook Pro, so at first it seemed a bit chunky, but you can get used to it in about 2 days. And I really love this squared industrial design, also because it made it possible to bring the ports back. Yes, guys, the ports. They're back. And I think it's curious how Apple removed the ports in 2016 to bring them back 5 years later, praising them as they were an innovation. Listen, team, if you steal ice cream from a baby and you bring it back 5 years later, you're still an asshole. I will continue buying Apple products, cause I'm an asshole too. Jokes apart, if you make content and you need to plug in an SD card or quickly plug in an HDMI for a presentation, now you're covered. The keyboard is also improved and I love it, even if they removed the touch bar. I know that I'm a bit out of the crowd saying this, but I used it a lot, especially for emojis and shortcuts in apps like Final Cut or Photoshop. But hey, life goes on. Now we arrive at the major and only, to be honest, pain point: the notch. I hate it. Not because it interferes with the content, but because the menu bar is not aligned. I'm really pissed off. It was a matter of, 12, 16 pixels? So, Apple. But the screen is really beautiful. I have a monitor in my home office setup, as you can see, and it is a very good monitor, but the Mac display is just amazing. The mini LED really makes the difference. So as always, you can't go wrong with Apple displays, unless you pay, $1,500 for the studio display. Well, there you're wrong. So overall the machine is powerful and beautiful, but how it behaves with the apps I use the most? Well, it's like this Mac was made for them. You can prototype an app in Figma, while exporting a 4K video in Final Cut and an animation in After Effects, and you can be sure this will crash in 3 seconds. No, just joking, but it will be a lot stress. Stress, yes, but it will handle it anyway. Here's where you see that 32 gigs of RAM would have been a better choice, but I don't usually do that much stuff at the same time, so I'm fine. Apps are ridiculously fast, especially because most of them have been improved and now supports Apple Silicon. In fact, I'm using the beta version of After Effects, and I have to say that it don't have any bugs and there are no missing functions, so if you use it in your creative process, you can go with it without regretting. So you won't have problems with the Adobe Suite or any other app you use. Productivity apps of course runs well, also other apps like Chrome works fine. Now I think that I can keep 2 or 3 tabs open. I mostly do UX design, so this machine is more than enough for me. But if you are a 3D artist, I think that you maybe want to consider upgrading to 32 gigs of RAM or directly to the M1 Max. Of course it can handle normal processes, but if you are a heavy 3D artist, and I'm talking about millions and millions and millions of meshes, this won't serve you as well as you need. So do I recommend this laptop for designers? Of course, only consider the specs you need. But most importantly, can it run Figma? Well, for sure. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification on. You don't want to miss any of my future videos, right? As always, may the force be with you. See you in the next video.